Show number 1.
This Otaku's
Life.
In the early 80s when I was a kid, I had a friend who was about a half mile from my house. And his mother liked to shop at garage sales. And she would bring him back very interesting toys. And one time she brought back these die-cast plastic metal lions. There was about 5 of them. And we used to play with them and they were pretty cool. And later on there was a TV station in Philadelphia that was starting up called Philly 57. They didn't have a lot of programming, but for what they had for kids, in the mornings is they showed interesting cartoons. We clearly recognized they weren't an American-style cartoon. We didn't know that they were Japanese at the time. But part of those animations we used to watch was Star Blazers, GoBots, eventually Transformers. It wasn't until Voltron was on in the summer that my buddy David figured out that those lines connected up together in one larger robot. Moving ahead in life, I had a English lit teacher, and I had a friend of mine, Eric, who was 1 grade underneath me. And about a year later, in the same pseudo English lit / film class, they had watched a animation called Akira. Well, Eric was really into Akira, and it led to him investigating what this Japanese animation was. And eventually he started fan subbing with another local person, my buddy Gary. And the two of them went ahead and started fan subbing, and then they started giving these fan subs to these anime conventions that were starting up around the time. One of those times they dragged me along to a convention that was knee-deep in Virginia. So we arrive at the convention, I register, and then they all sort of ran off to do their own things at the convention. I was completely abandoned. And so as a result of that, I was really left on my own to go figure out what kind of anime that I wanted to watch. Eventually, I stumbled upon something, Yamato. Basically, in America, we called it Star Blazers. In Japan, it was Yamato. And this was a sort of a modern incarnation of it. And this really caught my attention. And then eventually, after watching all the OVAs, I went off and I found another anime, and I fell in love. And this was really the beginning of me becoming an otaku. So thank you everyone for listening to this week's show. I just kind of wanted to have a little bit of an introduction and talk about the intentions of what I plan to do here. Obviously the format is going to be very organic. It will grow and change as we go forward. In some cases I might actually ask some of my friends or other people to kind of give their perspective on whatever the show theme is. This show was very much inspired by This American Life, the whole NPR style format, Radio Lab, and certainly was motivated by listening to another show called This Developer's Life. In this format, I expect to talk about whatever is on my mind. Sometimes that might be editorializing, maybe a little bit of a rant. Obviously, I'll get more comfortable with this format, and we shall see together how it evolves. So I want to thank you, everyone, for listening to this week's show. If you want to send me feedback, please do at thisotakuslife@gmail.com, or you can also check out the website www.thisotakuslife.com. Thank you everyone for joining me this week and listening to me around. Have a good one.